welcome to a quick introduction to the PMO role in optics. For reference, all the documents we'll be highlighting here in this training can be found in the box folder shown here, EAS Optics Management. So today we're going to cover the PMO role in optics management, cover the process of optics procurement from a platform perspective. We're going to cover the following steps: how to identify the optics required for our platforms, how to gather the requirements for the teams, how to order the optics modules, and how to track those orders. First, identifying the optics you need for the platform you're managing. There's several considerations that you'll have to consider to develop the final list of optics. These will be the marketing requirements, which are found in your PRD developed by the marketing department. The platform capabilities, whether your platform supports 40 gig, 100 gig, 400 gig optics, for example. And the qualification status of the modules that you'll be testing, whether they're currently in production, whether they're still in qualification status. With all these items in mind, we'll be able to use the module master reference list located at that box folder that I showed to determine which modules we need. So this is what the document looks like here. You can sort out the module status. Again, there's several options here. Qualified means that it's been qualified by our TMG group, which qualifies optical modules, and it's currently in production. Obsolete and end of life, self-explanatory. And some of these are IPQ, meaning they're currently under test and not yet qualified and for sale. In this case, we would select qualified. Here you can select your module type as well, with the different options being 100 megabit, 1 gig, 10 gig, 25 gig, 40 gig, and 100 gig. For example, if you had a platform that was doing 10 gig and 25 gig, you would select those. Over here is listed all the vendors for the parts, manufacturing part numbers, pricing, lead times, minimum order quantities when available. And when you've done this and put this together, you then have your list of modules that are applicable for the platform you're developing. Finally, of course, you'd want to take this list to your team, to marketing, hardware lead, software lead, to discuss and finalize the list and approve it. The next requirement in the PMO role for optics management is to gather all the optics needs for your teams. To do this, you're going to need to put together an allocation list in your budget and allocation spreadsheet. This should be similar in function to your proto allocation. You're going to need to reach out and get the requirements from all your functional teams, the quantities that they require of each module. And then you're going to consolidate all those quantities and budgets. I do want to note here that CSG and CHG budget will need to be separated, and all the budget will need to be requested as OpEx under 5K. Additionally, your budget is going to have to factor into your EC. This is an example of one of our projects that has done this. As you can see here, we have the required optics for the platform. Again, this is just an example, the 1 gig, 10 gig module separated here. You have all the functional teams listed above with their leads, and then their requests for each module below. And on the right-hand side, you can see the totals broken out by hardware, software development, software test. So once all your optics requirements are finalized, you start to receive your requested budget. It's time to order your modules. In the case of optics, it's important that we consolidate all our orders due to minimum order quantities, vendor pricing, tracking requirements. And as such, ordering your modules is as simple as providing your module requirements to the optics team and then forwarding your bands and budget to the optics team. Although you won't have to order the modules yourself, it's important to note that because the team has to work with so many vendors, it can be an unexpected change in the orders. The optics changes in the order and will notify the PM when they're unable to order any of those modules. It's also important to note that a lot of the modules that we order have long lead times will be consolidated with other orders for other projects. As such, tracking is the last and important key step in the optics process. The optics team keeps and maintains a quarterly document to manage the following: the budget spend for the quarter, the PR and PO status to each vendor, the expected ship dates for the modules that were ordered, and the allocation status for each module. Here's an example of one of our tracking documents, in this case Q4 FY18. Here you can see in the first tab our Q4 budget tracking with the requesters listed here and the bands listed over here, along with the breakdown of the spending. In the second tab is the order summary, the consolidated orders across the different platforms and projects listed above, along with all the requests and how they'll be allocated. And finally, in the third tab here, the Q4 PO tracking, we can track the module itself. So in case you want to look for a particular module that your group requested, you can sort it out here, the vendor, module, and you'll be able to see the status, the ETA of the module, and tracking numbers if we have them yet, along with notes as if they've been received, whether or not they've been allocated yet. All this information, the help of the optics team will be able to track and keep up to date on all our optics needs. So that's going to conclude this brief overview of the PMO role